Hi, and welcome to the Divinely Inspired Woman podcast. I am your host, Patricia Wald-Hopkins. I am a modern mystic, and I am here to share with you the beautiful wisdom and stories from women that desire to lead their lives inspired by the divine within them. The divinely inspired woman is devoted to walking the path of her soul's calling, tuning into the divinity within to navigate life with ease and grace through all circumstances. She cultivates beauty in her daily life. She is here to share the most authentic self each day through thick and thin. So I hope you will enjoy our show today and that you will leave with an infusion of inspiration for your soul and for your day and living your life. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Divinely Inspired Woman. I'm your host, Patricia Wald-Hopkins, and today I have a beautiful goddess guest here with me today, Danielle Schreck. And we're going to be learning a little bit about the chapter that she has in a book that is coming out this week. It's already available for pre-sale order. And we'll drop that link here with this episode. But it's called Stories of the Goddess, Divine Feminine Frequency Keepers. And Danielle has a chapter in the book called Weaving a New Earth Timeline. That sounds very intriguing. And so we're going to talk to her a little bit about how she was inspired to write that and to be part of Radhaa Publishing House's book project. And welcome, Danielle. I'm going to share a little bit about you, but welcome and thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you.
Yeah, it's always wonderful to have such amazing women come and speak here. So Danielle is an empath that loves connecting with people. She specializes in hosting interviews with holistic healers and on topics related to the divine feminine, awakening, and inspiration. You can find her videos on YouTube via Conversations from the Heart. She also specializes in pendulum healing and offers private sessions and monthly group healing events. She's a graduate of the Goddess Code Academy, a mystical school for divine feminine. She is also certified as a spinning goddess. Danielle is also contributing writer to the book Pillars of Light, Stories of Goddess Activations, and Energy Healing and Soul Medicine, Volume 2. This is a best-selling book and collaborative healers directory and as well as infinite cosmic records, doorways to healing and remembering, all by Radhaa Publishing House. So beautiful. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And tell me, what inspired you to write this chapter and to be part of this collaborative book?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Patricia. It's such a pleasure to connect with like-minded people, and I just love what you're doing in the world. And that's kind of what my chapter is about: is weaving the empowered divine feminine to step into her leadership. And the message overall was kind of a little bit of a challenge message. I wasn't really sure at the time when I was talking about a publishing house what it would, unfold into, and I realized I didn't really. It's kind of interesting because I didn't want to like make it about me directly as Danielle, but in a way it kind of was because I'm a part of the process. So
Mm.
yeah, it just unfolded through a quick writing session, and I was kind of surprised by how quickly I was able to get the message out. I consider it to be straightforward, to the point, with intense verbiage and words that others may not be familiar with, and others might be more advanced and understand and go, "Oh, I've heard that before." But
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's about getting the information out, and it's all timing and the divine has a special timing for everyone. And I just
Mhm.
felt it was my time to share my voice and what I had been experiencing for over a decade, and just having the ups and downs, the journey, that path, were kind of what I related to the other day when we were talking, as where I've spent a lot of time alone. And so now stepping into my empowerment and, connecting with people across the world through a computer on
Mm.
Zoom is fantastic. And I generally felt that I wanted to bring forward a message that really kind of was a goddess that not a lot of people talk
Mhm.
like a lot about. Of
Mhm.
course, this goddess is known, but I don't hear much of it personally. So I was researching and looking for a goddess to. I'm like, okay, I want to feel inspired, but in a different way that I had never been touched before. So I just felt that particular goddess called out to me, and it was so symbolic.
Beautiful. Yeah, it feels like it was a divinely inspired. No pun intended there, but yeah. Yeah. What has been, I mean, I know you talked about, the last 10 years, and so it sounds like it's also this weaving, how maybe you've been weaving your own new timeline. Is that true? Is that like
Yeah.
you've been, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, thank you for noticing that. It's so funny because I'm self-aware about that, but putting it into words and hearing it from someone else, it's like, oh yeah, that is exactly what I'm doing. And I aim to inspire because I'm one of those people who um, feel very deeply, and I feel all the emotions from the heaviness to the happiness. And so I always work internally on transmuting that emotion. I'm a very emotional person, but you don't see it on the outside because I
Hmm.
stay I'm an air sign. So in a way, it always looks like I'm daydreaming, but I'm really feeling very deeply. And so I felt that it was important to honor and express the importance of experiencing these fluidity of emotions, while kind of working past the whole victim mentality and transcending into more of a embodiment of empowerment,
Hmm.
champion,
Hmm.
because
Champion.
being empowered is really important in general in humanity, but especially at a point now, because I do feel we are shifting, and have been for quite some time. This isn't really like a new message per se, but it's just getting more pungent. Is that the right word?
Hmm. Hmm. Potent and pungent, perfectly said.
And it just happens to be where I'm in the process, and felt like expressing through my writing, and it just kind of came through. And when I connected with Radhaa Publishing House, it was no new experience to me. I had been working with them for a couple years now, and
Hmm.
I didn't know actually that I was going to write the book originally. And I just was doing what I normally do. And when Radha approached me about it, I thought, okay, let me fill into this. And I just sat down one afternoon and it came out. And I thought, okay, I guess it's meant to be. And that's how that came.
Oh, I love that. It was time, right?
It's
It
time.
was
Yeah.
time to share your message and your wisdom. And
Mhm.
I mean, that's one of the things that I love about this book in particular, but all of these collaborative book projects is the weaving together of so many different women's wisdom. How did you feel about that process?
I absolutely admired it because I started to realize that no matter what stages we are at in life, especially because with the goddess, the divine feminine and the goddesses, we have the maiden, the mother, and the crone energy.
Hmm.
And not to say that anyone is bringing a specific age into the play, it's the wisdom of each era we've all gone through. And some of us are older and some of us are younger, and that's not the point. The point is we are all so divinely aligned at this time that the messages I felt kind of flowed very like a symbiotic relationship.
Hmm.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
And just hearing some of their testimonies and the interviews that I've been doing, I started to realize, like, wow, we are all going through a very strong transition in different ways. um,
Hmm.
could be mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. Just happens several are experienced on a physical, but that's the beauty of this is like, oh my gosh, we're not alone. We're going through similar things. Um, I'm hearing things from everyone's perspective that I relate to but haven't thought to put into words. And I just really admire the expression. And it actually opens me up more to want to embrace and, you know, um, connect more with sisterhood because I'm so used to doing things alone and
Mm-hmm.
reaching out to people, but I'm not used to people reaching out to me. I'm always used to kind of like leading the way in a very quiet way, but not like forceful. And that can be sometimes what feels as the lonely path. But I really wanted to inspire people like, actually anybody can do this. Like, cause I kind of have been working on clearing a lot of like family trauma, poverty mindset. And these are very stressful things that
Yeah.
someone who's working on has to, it can be very tense. And so I just realized, I'm no different. They're no different. I'm going to rise into this position, even if I don't feel like it right now. And you start to embody it. And then the next thing you know, you feel so inspired by other people. And so it's like we're all bridging together these energies. And that's what's so great is we are weaving, and we're bringing these different energies from inside of ourselves that we've had at different points in our life up to
Mm.
now. And it's truly an evolution and what I consider a new timeline for humanity, for Mother Gaia, for consciousness. And I do believe in that idea that we are we are essentially ascending, but from within. And it's not like,
Mm-hmm.
this outside. Nothing is outside. Everything is inside. That's why alchemy is so important. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I kind of went on a tangent, but yeah, that's
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, I really feel that you are a leader in that collective weaving of a new timeline, right? A new timeline for the whole collective, and you're really a voice for that. I can feel that, and I've watched you
oh,
as
thank you.
I've, known you for I think almost a couple of years now, maybe.
Yeah, I know we started originally back when we had interviewed for energy healing and soul medicine.
Yeah, I believe so. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, what are some of the highlights for you of working with Radhaa Publishing House? What have been some of the blessings that you have received?
Wow, that's such a beautiful question, and it's so touching to my heart because I did express in a different interview that when I found Radha Publishing House, it felt like a blessing dropped into my life, but I didn't realize how it was going to ripple and how it was going to change me, but in a very embodied, like an empowerment and in a very empowered way. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. But yeah, the initial process began with a session that I had with Radha, and it was her goddess activations, and that
Hmm.
really woke me up to how much mind control I was under and how much I was over giving as an empath,
Mm,
having absolutely no center to the point where I was questioning my own beliefs into a way that was like almost disempowering because it kind of got me to overthink too much. And I never took, I took action, but not in the way that was to my best good. So I felt like it really kind of got me like back on track. And then from there was where I started to do the work. And I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of visibility issues. And
mm,
I talk about this in the
yeah.
original book with Pillars of Life, Pillars of Light, that it all kind of started with an abusive relationship. So, and
Mm,
unfortunately, that did lead me down a path along with, my corporate America experience and feeling so unhappy and unfulfilled because my soul was craving, purpose and just
hmm.
and like you're not on the right path, Missy. So yeah, it was really a blessing. It kind of just, like I said, recalibrated me to the right direction, and that's where we started doing the work. And I put in a lot of time, many weekends trying to figure things out, and just you know it was very fulfilling. But I realized at that point how much I also had trouble asking for help, and I had also issue with um, not being able to speak my my truth without making someone else wrong, because I always felt they were making me wrong by trying to
Mm,
change my ways or change my thinking. I wanted to be rooted in my beliefs without being, um, attacked for it, or,
yeah.
I just have a higher way of thinking. And when I say that, I mean that from like a place of like pure, like, fairness. Like, I'm a Libra. I really truly want what's best for,
Mm,
and
mhm.
people who love you see a different perspective sometimes when they're not on this path, and they want, in some cases, to mold you back to how they are. And that's kind of like that's very restrictive and limiting, in my opinion. So I've learned that sometimes, in order to move forward, you have to back up a little bit to move forward. And it's given me a lot of space to breathe. I've been holding space for myself, and now I can hold so much space for other people.
That's beautifully said. Yeah, I think it's really important for us to stay in our centers and remember who we are, even though we have all this pressure from the outside, like telling us,
Yeah.
this is the what you need to do. This is how you need to act. This is who you are.
Yeah.
And that's the word that I heard over and over as you were speaking is that mastery, that self mastery
Mm,
through self love, right? Through a deep sense of loving who you are, like
yeah.
all of you. So you're a beautiful role model
Thank you.
for that.
Oh,
And yeah, is there something else that is coming up? I feel like there's some other piece that you want to share about how this message, your intention for like a deeper message about how this chapter in this book is going to light up this new timeline.
yeah. So I kind of see myself as a bridge. And so what I mean by that is I'm always like a little bit in the middle, helping people go from here to there. And so
Mhm.
everything I do with the intention of bridging for others, because
Okay.
I've been there, and I have also walked across myself too. And so I kind of see us at a point in our humanity where our consciousness is rising to a certain point. And I mean, of course, I don't want to leave anyone behind, but we all have our, free will, and we all have, um, the the intention I would love for everyone is to have the courage and the strength to step into that leadership. And it doesn't have to be like, hey, you need to serve your community and be a spokesperson on the, plant panel. I'm not talking just that. I'm talking about like your everyday life, like the
Yeah.
person that you are and how you show up in this world truly matters. And it's
Hmm.
all intention, it's all what you put out there. And if you could just shift your focus, shift that perspective, it's amazing how you can affect other people. And it's like a ripple effect. So
Yeah.
my intention is really just to bridge the warrior inside of you and say like, hey, I am a leader in my own right, and I have, something to say. And the people that are meant to cross your path will. Sometimes it challenges you, sometimes it's
Hmm.
someone who's by your side to support you, and sometimes you're the one that's supposed to support. And it can get a little confusing if you focus too much on the outside. And like I said, bring it back in, go within,
Go
um,
within.
feel into it. And honestly, everything, you'll be divinely guided based off your own inspiration internally. It's like that internal compass, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. I trust that way of life. I think that's one of the beautiful aspects of books like these is that it gives you another perspective on how you can actually live your life, right? Than what maybe we were brought up with, and to see the journeys of different women and what they've gone through can
Right.
help encourage other women along. There was something that you said, maybe it was the bridging. Let me just tune in here for a second about being a bridge. Ah, yes. Okay. So I really feel that leadership code in you. And I think one of the beautiful things that's coming through this book is that it's time for us to stop hiding,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and being in the back, right? It's time to
Mhm.
actually, like you said, step and be, an empowered woman, leader, divine feminine, frequency keeper, like out in the world. And
Yeah.
does that feel true? Is that
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I feel like you're modeling for.
Yeah, and it's so, and I do it in a way where I want others to feel comfortable, because the worst thing you can
Hmm.
do is, in my, not the worst, but because there's a ton of things in this world, but one of the things that I would like to help others experience is the feeling of peace and comfort, and
Hmm.
knowing that, you don't have to move forward in fear. You can move
Hmm.
forward with adventure, the open your mind to possibilities, see it from a different perspective. Sometimes those first step into leadership they can sometimes feel, painful to some degree. Like,
Yeah.
why am I here? Why am I doing this? And it's sometimes it's as simple as like, this environment just needs your energy. And if you
Hmm.
sustain that without letting the outside affect you, then you're doing what you're meant to be, and don't question, just be you. And the divine will take care of you every step of the way. And brings in more trust. And so it's like these little missions become bigger and bigger and bigger, and so on. So it just kind of depends on where you're at in the process, and kind of will unfold naturally. The messages do come through synchronicities, feelings, inspiration, little moments.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what, I think I need to go here. I feel good
Right.
about that. Let's go here. And I know Abraham Hicks actually talks a lot about that, but
Right. Right.
I resonated with that before I learned about them. And, it's just so amazing, the power of the voice. And it's also empowers others sometimes, just in a subtle moment, to just, because you might not see them again. That might be the only opportunity you have. And then they're gone. So whatever they picked up through you, it kind of puts them back, it recalibrates them. And it could be so subtle, and it could be really powerful. So it's all important and empowering.
Yeah.
I would just say that it's not to compare. I just think sometimes people want instant gratification, and so that could really deter someone's perseverance. So just keep going.
Keep going. Keep going. No, that's so true. Yeah, I was terribly shy for most of my life, but always had this fire in me to say
Yeah,
the truth. And it's taken me decades, but I think that the more women who are doing it, and more people in general who are doing that, it helps to speed up that process. It makes it a little more open,
right.
to moving into that new way of living life. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about what Radhaa and her, all of you are doing in Radhaa Publishing House is creating that space, opening that path for so many, through bringing these collective stories together.
Yeah.
And I do want to, give you, a little bit of time to just share a little bit more about, some of the things that you do, to support people into leadership, um, and how people can connect with you if they're
Yeah.
interested.
Thank you so much. So right now, obviously, I've been working with Radha Publishing House, so I'm an ambassador with Radha Publishing House. So if anybody hears these interviews and they're kind of intrigued and interested in either receiving an interview on a book they're doing, or if they're interested in Radha Publishing House, I'm kind of like the person that can bring that information to you.
Awesome.
And I know that she does solo books too. However, right now, our biggest focus is collaborative books.
Mm-hmm.
And through the process of working with Radha Publishing and just overcoming my own insecurities and fears around being seen and heard, and stepping into my inner strength, I have created a YouTube channel called Conversations from the Heart. So I also interview other individuals who kind of provide you that knowledge, wisdom from their perspective, their expertise, holistic modalities, authors. Sometimes I just do popcorn shares with people, and we just
Mm,
subjects
mhm.
about spirituality to debunk them, and or it's just a fun spin, for entertainment, but also
Nice.
there's our truth into that. And so I've been working a lot on that. And I'm definitely open. If you want to book an interview, just reach out to me. You can find me, actually, all my links are either on my Instagram and my YouTube channel, but I have a Instagram is aphrodite.heart.vibes, and my email, you can find that there too. It's all the links are provided on YouTube.
Okay, great. Okay, beautiful.
Oh, and lastly, I do apologize. I do offer energy healing.
Yeah.
Once a month, we do a group event with our pendulum, our spinning goddess, and we just
Mm,
use the pendulum to clear out old energies and download and activate. It's very similar to theta healing, but not exactly. But yeah, we do that too. So.
awesome.
Mhm.
Okay, beautiful. Well, I'll make sure that we have that information in the description for this episode as well. And I think too, I'm feeling like the last little piece here this morning um, is around how people can connect with this book. And I know you're the expert here. So
When you say that, you mean like where they can find it, or like?
yes, how where they and yeah, where they can find it right now and
Yeah.
yes.
So today's a special day. It's actually pre-launching today, March 23rd. You can find it on Amazon. I'll have all my links listed through my Instagram and YouTube as well. And once that, I believe we're just doing the pre-release right now, and then it'll be available through Kindle and then the book version. So if you're interested in receiving a copy, just let us know. You can contact Radhaa Publishing directly or one of the authors, including you, Patricia. And I know, it's so exciting. And then also, where they can find this information, valuable. I'm not sure if that was originally your question. I would just say, because there's so much wisdom that comes through from each woman, it's a frequency. And I do feel whatever you read and the time that you read it, just feel into the book. And, the message might not be for you at this moment. You can skim to another chapter. And yeah, it's kind of like a activator too. So once you listen to it at another point, you might be ready more than you were before.
Right.
So yeah, just take it with with ease and grace. Don't try to consume it and think this isn't for me, because I guarantee there's a message in there for everyone,
Yeah.
men and women.
Yeah. And that cover itself of
Beautiful.
that book. Yeah, that's beautiful, beautiful activator as well when you see that cover. So I encourage everyone to, yeah, get a copy and read Danielle's story and all of the other women's chapters as well, and receive some grace and ease from it. So thank you so much, Danielle, for being a guest here today on this podcast. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Much love, everybody. Until next time. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Divinely Inspired Woman. Again, I am your host, Patricia Wald-Hopkins, and I am so glad that you joined us here today. I hope you left with some soul food to inspire your daily life. And if you would like to learn more about my work, please check out my website, patriciawaldhopkins.com, and you can find out more about my divinely inspired practice and tools. So, thank you again. Have a beautiful day. Hi. I'm dropping in here with an announcement about a program a new mentorship that I am offering. It's called Voices of Gaia, and it's about bringing your voice, your leadership, your life in alignment with Gaia's guidance. So if you feel called to learn more about this program, it's a beautiful, rich program where we dive into your essence. And if you so desire, we develop your business around it and really blossom into your whole lifestyle, this wisdom from Gaia that wants to be spoken through you. So if you feel called, reach out to me at patricia@patriciawaldhopkins.com. That's patricia@patriciawaldhopkins.com. There's no hyphen between Wald and Hopkins. And I would just love to hear from you and see if this is a good fit. So thank you for tuning in. Have a beautiful day.